be pushing too hard.
I'm fine, kid. Seriously, I'm just sick.
I'm scared, man. It all out of control.
It was a terrible accident.
I should have stopped him.
I need to think about my family.
Your job is to wrestle.
Live up to that deal or we are through.
I told you to look out for him!
I just love being out there with you guys. It's the only thing that matters to me.
The Bonner will forever be the greatest family in the history of wrestling!
The Iron Claw was released this past weekend and was written and directed by Sean Durkin and is about the Von Erich brothers who made history in the intense competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Through tragedy and triumph under the shadow of their demurring father and coach, the brothers seek larger-than-life immortality on the biggest stage in sports. Growing up, my memory has been very vague about the story of the Von Erich family. Like, I've heard of them before, but ever since I kind of became unfamiliar with the story. But I'm like, oh, I think I've heard of that. Yeah, and they look kind of familiar and stuff. But growing up, me and my brothers always loved wrestling. We used to go do our wrestling moves on our old trampoline. But growing up as a bunch of bigger kids, that trampoline, unfortunately, didn't last very long. But going back to the release of the Iron Claw trailer, it intrigued my interest because I was so familiar with the story, kind of, and the world of wrestling, that and also knowing the distribution company that's behind the film. And speaking of the Von Erichs as wrestlers, my uncle used to take my mother and aunt to go see them perform live back then, and I believe David Von Erich kissed my aunt actually when he was exiting the arena. Just a fun fact. But after seeing the film, I took my parents to go see the film, by the way. Not only did I love the film, but my mom after the film was, she was on this emotional roller coaster of nostalgia after seeing it. So she was like, yeah, that's very accurate to the story and how that era was. It just, she said the movie was very accurate, but the film delves into the tragic story of the Von Erichs with the utmost reverence. Not a single performance in this film is dull. Zac Efron delivers his most physically and emotionally demanding performance to date. He is supported by a flawless cast ensemble as they, along with the director Sean Durkin, commit to some of the best depictions of wrestling ever seen in film. It conquers ideas of dealing with social pressures and expectations, choosing fame, family legacy, and so much more. There's a dialogue in the film, actually, that comes from Zac Efron's Kevin Von Erich's character. That changed my viewing on wrestling as a whole, actually. When I don't know if this will be a spoiler, but spoiler alert, small spoiler. But when he was on a date with his wife, when they started dating, she called wrestling fake, and then he technically says, like, yes, but that titles are earned from performance and how the crowd reacts to the stunts performed by the wrestler, not to mention their intense training these guys do 24/7. So yeah, that changed my perspective on wrestling as a whole. But yet, above all else, it's a story of brotherhood. I can't emphasize that enough, how devastating of a watch this was. As one of four brothers, the ending of this film hit home for me, and I loved how they handled the brothers' conclusion at the end of the film. I think Zac Efron truly gives an Oscar-worthy performance here, and I wouldn't doubt he gets nominated, actually. But I'm going to give the Iron Claw 5 stars. What did you guys think of the Iron Claw? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Matt, and this is Primetime Flicks, and I'll see you guys in the next video.